I was attacked by a pack of stray dogs, and one of them bit me, and I ran home bleeding and terrified. But get this, the wound on my left leg was not the worst thing to happen to me that day. After the attack, for years, I couldn't even look at a dog without being absolutely terrified. But something happened that changed me forever. Please allow me to explain. Have you ever been so scared of something that you felt like it controlled you? Well, that was me with dogs. But I learned something that might surprise you, something that helped me overcome my fear, and who knows, it might help you as well. When I was about 8 years old, my mom sent me to this little store down the street. It wasn't too far from our house. I did not want to go, but when your mom tells you to do something, guess what? You go. Moms could be quite convincing, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't too long before I was in tears heading to the little supermarket. This is where things took a dark turn. As I got closer to the store, there they were, a group of stray dogs just hanging out in the front of the building. At first, I thought I could sneak by, but then one of them noticed me, and that's when it all went wrong. I don't know if it was my tears or my fears, but they were on me like white on rice. They sensed me. I thought that it was the end for me. They surrounded me. One of them jumped at me and sank its teeth into my leg. I screamed and ran home as fast as I could. When I got there, I was crying, bleeding, and more terrified than I'd ever been in my life. Guess what happened next? Of course, my mom sent me back to the store. If you're from the Caribbean, you'll probably understand. Thank God, when I went back, the pack of stray dogs weren't there anymore. But I realized, though the dogs were gone, my fear for them never left. From that day, I hated dogs. No matter where I went, it felt like they could sense my fear. I didn't want anything to do with them ever again. I think that was the day I became a xenophobe, having a fear of dogs. But my fear was in no way irrational. But years later, when I was a teenager, something happened that made me face this fear in a way I never expected. And it had everything to do with someone I deeply, deeply cared about. One day, I saw Denise, the girl I liked, riding her bike near the house. Out of nowhere, her neighbor's dog charged at her. She jumped off her bike and tried to keep it between her and the dog, but it wasn't working. That mutt wasn't giving up. When I saw what was happening, I didn't think twice. I ran as fast as I could. I got between her and the dog. The dog turned on me, but this time I wasn't scared. I was mad. I wasn't going to let that dog hurt her. That day, I fought off that rabbit creature. I faced the thing I'd been terrified of for years. And do you know why I wasn't scared anymore? Because I cared more about protecting Denise than about my fear. The love I had for her gave me the courage I didn't know I had. That day I realized something important. Fear is powerful, but love is even stronger. It's like a superpower that gives you strength when you need it most. In the Bible, it says, perfect love casts out fear. That's exactly what happened to me. When you love someone, it pushes fear aside. And you know what? That's the kind of love God has for us. He's always ready to stand between us and the things that scare us, just like I stood between Denise and that dog. So, if you're scared of something, whether it's a tough situation at work, or at school, a big test, a divorce, a court case, or a job interview, or something else, remember this, you don't have to face it alone. Love is stronger than fear, and God's love is always there for you. God is love. Hey, Jesus loves you. The cure for all fear is the perfect love of God. If this story meant something to you, share it with a friend. You never know who might need a little encouragement. Oh, and to this day, I'm still protecting Denise. She's my wife.